Good morning. And you see me on the other side. Alright, looks like I'm live. I've got so far one person watching my ugly mutt. I'll just give a chance for a few people just to log on here this morning. Alright, good morning, goeiemorgen. En vir die Kaapse ouens, alweer massa kinders. This is me, Viljoen, from Tauranga, New Zealand and North Island. I'm a financial advisor here in New Zealand, and my goal in life is to help a few South Africans reach this beautiful shores of Aotearoa. So this morning I've promised some people to show my house. I'm going to take a walk through with the camera through the house a bit later. I'm just giving the sun, as I see it's still very dark outside. It's just past 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. this side. And I think I'll take a few questions for the people out there. I see there's a few Cape Townians here as well. Guys, let me tell you one or two small things regarding coming over while I'm waiting for a few questions. Should you come to New Zealand on a visitor's visa, it's important that you do have travel insurance. Anything can go wrong here, and it's quite expensive for a foreigner to be admitted to the local hospital or the type of clinics that they do have here. Although the service is very good, it's very expensive for foreigners. You've got to pay an upfront amount before they even look at you, and then every other thing they do for you will cost you a set amount that they ask you to pay that upfront. I remember in 2016 my wife felt very ill. We took it to the local, I think it's called Green Cross or something there in Auckland. I'll never forget the figures. They charged me $123 just to admit her, just to fill in the form. Then she had to do, I think it's the ECG they did on her, and I had to pay her up front. And then they did something else, and eventually they listened to what she said she thought was wrong, and they gave her a small pill which cost $9. So for a $9 pill, I actually paid about, nearly in South African rands, I think 3,500 rand or something, which is absolutely ridiculous, because those type of pills you just can't buy over the counter. You can't buy a lot of medicine over the counter here. Let's get back to that as well. The normal stuff that you guys buy over the counter in South Africa, it's totally not on here. It's not on. Anything that's a bit strong, panados, those type of things you can buy over the counter. But anything more than that, really, it's the doctor's got to give that to you. You just don't walk into a pharmacy and buy stuff over the counter as you would have done in South Africa. So keep that in mind when you're coming around here. Stuff is a bit, and then it feels to me like the medicine is a bit weaker here than in South Africa. I know the poisons really are. We've got a lot of spiders here, so if you've got a phobia about spiders, that's one thing you probably would have to think about before moving here. But don't let the spiders keep you away. Most of the spiders here is non-poisonous. That's quite important to know that. None of them are most of them are non-poisonous, and the one or two that are poisonous, they just do a little bite, at least a bit of bump, or it looks bad for about 3 days, and then you are better. So it's not like Australia or so where they nearly kill you when they bite you. But if you use poisons down here, you'll find that you have to use much more poisons than, or stronger poisons, or higher dosage than what I normally used in South Africa, especially with stuff like Roundup and so on. I nearly doubled the dosage just to get the same results as I had back in South Africa. Alright, let's take one or two quick questions. Ayan, would like to know when is the best time to apply for work. Anytime, man, anytime. We did our unabridged and police clearances, but have not received it yet. I heard there's a bit of a delay in South Africa. Should we wait to get the documents? It's always a catch-22 situation. If you don't have the documents, you can't come at all. You can't come at all. It's just as easy as that. So I would always say to anybody, wait until you have all the documents. But the problem is with your police clearance that after 6 months that normally expires. And I heard this last few days you can't ask for extension. You have to apply for a brand new one. So I would think if you've got all your other our other documents, your unabridged certificates, your passports, that's also important. You need a passport to come. Once you have that, start applying for work. And just wait for the police clearance to come, because that normally comes within about 3 to 4 weeks. Insurance for medical. What if you have a work visa? Guys, I've posted a thing on the site to say, when are you allowed to get government medical? Okay, that's quite important, because government medical is very good here. And then if you can get government medical, we can give you a type of insurance called health cover that will just put you in front of the queue. It's quite inexpensive, I would reckon. It's less than $100 per person, so it's much cheaper than what your current medical aid in South Africa is. And that is something that you can take out this side. You can only take that out once you've got government medical as well. Government's always the backup plan for anything. So if you have a heart attack tonight, they'll take you to the nearest government hospital. Don't think of a government hospital as the ones you are used to. These are totally different. Totally different. It's like I would say 1975 in South Africa. That's what the hospitals look like here. Tell me more about the sandfly. Are they everywhere? That's from Carla de Klerk. Carla, I've also heard about this sandfly thing. I've never seen one. And I've been on most of the beaches. And I mean, some of you guys follow the photos that I place on Facebook. I've been basically on a lot of beaches. I've been about everywhere. I've heard other people complain about that. I actually have poison for sandflies. I've nearly got poison for everything. So I've got poison for sandflies as well, but I've never used that. So I don't know about the sandflies. I've heard there's a different thing called the Mount Mauler here. It's presumably a little parasite that also bites you. And how far that is from a sandfly, I don't know, but neither of these have bitten me. So I am confused about the test that we need to write. Which is right, which is wrong. Where are they written? Do we pay? What is the pass rate? And so forth. Jackie, I'm just as confused as you. My expression of interest was accepted 2 weeks before everybody had to write the English test. So excuse me if I can't give you a lot of information on that, but probably I can find out, and I probably would find out and see what we can post about that. I know there's specific places where you can write, and so it's just not a very easy thing to find that out, but I'll find that out for you guys, so don't worry about that. What else is there this morning before I take you through my house? One or two other things that I had during the week. I met up with a few guys during the week as well. And if there's any New Zealanders out there that knows of anybody that needs an IT wireman, or the guys that we call in Afrikaans the draadtrekkers, the ones that lay the wires and work with the hardware, please give me a shout. I've got somebody that's document ready here in New Zealand that needs that type of job. Alright, how do we get an IRD number? In New Zealand, internet works. Go onto the IRD website, register yourself there, and that's quick as that. And if you are here and you're getting a salary, get your IRD number before you get your first pay, because otherwise they're going to charge you on overseas rates, and it's quite expensive. Your IRD number is very easy, and if you need it urgently, just pick up the phone, call them and say, guys, I'm getting paid one of these days. And within about, I think I had mine within 3 days, and the wife, who had no urgency for her IRD number, would be, I think it was about a week. That's about that. Then they send you a text and saying, text here is called SMS in South Africa. They send you a text saying this is your IRD number, and then it posts you the paperwork. Do you advise an immigration agent or a lawyer? Sean de Lange, the guy that brought me was Wyan Nelson. He's an immigration lawyer down in Auckland. You can look under Nelson Lawyers. But on this page, you'll find Vanita Herbans. She's very good with immigration. She's been doing that for many years. So that would be my go-to girl in this area for immigration. And you can also just send her a mail or just ask me later for her email address, and I'll send that off to you. What is the waiting period for a work visa? It's a long time. They have fallen behind with this Christchurch problems, but presumably they have fixed that now. So, yep, working visas, I think the turnaround time they give is 90 days. So that's what I'm going to say, guys. I can't speak for immigration. I'm not an immigration advisor. Currently, there's a lot of people trying to come to New Zealand, and it's not only South Africans. You've got to remember that South Africa is only one of the nations that is trying to get into here. The Chinese, there's a lot of Chinese coming here. From India, a lot of people from India, some from Pakistan, the other type of nations up in the islands, the Fijians. All the islands also want to come down to New Zealand because it's a really lovely place. I think the South Africans are one of the fewer nations that are really actually coming. That just takes up the amount of available space here. So it's not only us that wants to come here, so you are competing with the rest of the world to get into New Zealand. Does my trade assessment count? Done by Oz, ACS. I don't know if Oz is for Australia, but we are in New Zealand now. Bradley, perhaps you should just have your stuff done by New Zealand. I would also rather go for New Zealand certified assessment. I don't know if they really will take our stuff. I can't comment on that. There's some information on IELTS, that's the English test. So, right guys, let's take a quick walk and see if we can get this camera to turn around and take you through my house. The wife has said this morning it's fine. So let's see where we can go. Okay. This is my house. I promised the wife I won't go into the bedrooms. It takes a small turn this side. Yep, my gas fire is already burning. It's a bit colder this morning. That's outside. We'll see now if we can see anything outside. All your houses in New Zealand comes with curtains. So curtains is one of a standard thing in New Zealand, and according to the new laws, all houses must come with either a type of a gas or wood heater or a what they call a heat pump here. That's an aircon. I'm going to show you what's happening in the kitchen. We'll take a bit of a breather around here. This is a non-standard New Zealand, how can I say, appliance. You see, that's my old Bolton King. Wife brought it back for me from South Africa. There's old Bolton cutter. Then all homes have this little 2 zincs. There's some meat for later today. Some for Joas. That's also an indigenous thing here, presumably. I've never seen it anywhere else in the world. And your coffee machine. That's a non-standard product. I brought that from South Africa, but yep. Gas. Gas is a big thing here. There's your gas stove. You get 2 ovens. Sometimes 1, sometimes 2, but most of the houses comes with 2 ovens. And what I've always told everybody about this place where your fridge goes. It's very small. That's a single door fridge, and that's about as far as what you get in there. So anything bigger than that will either be you have to put in there inside of your lounge, or you'll have to put that in your garage. Those 2 little things, I'll see if I can open one for them. Ah, you know what that is? That is the washer for all your dirty dishes. So that's basically a standard New Zealand house. Some of the houses are a bit smaller. Let's see if we can see what it's looking outside already. You see, it looks like the sun is coming up a little bit there. So this is early morning outside. That is my car. That's the Toyota Harrier there. And as you can see, the sun is coming up. Alright, but it's chilly out here, the wife's car. Okay, that was a quick sweep through my house with permission of the wife. A lot of people have already seen the inside of my house as they come to New Zealand and I meet up with them. They come to my house, I give them coffee from that coffee machine down there. Alright guys, let's see if there's any other weird and wonderful questions you guys have. So, alright. Now, no, I'm not going to take you to the bathrooms. Oh, I've said not allowed. And the bedroom, sorry, there's some people visiting me as well. I was sleeping this morning. So let's see what else we can get. See where we can take you. What else is there that you need to ask me? Some quick stuff. We've got about another 15 minutes left here. I didn't go very far out of the house. We Wi-Fi restricted. So this weekend I'm moving house. To those who haven't heard that before, I'm moving house. I'm moving to a total different area. Still staying in Tauranga, but I'm currently about 30 minutes from the center of town, and I'm moving to an area called Welcome Bay. So it'll be about 5-6 minutes from the center of town now. I see Lisa Kay ask how big is the garden area. Lisa, I'll take a walk outside in about 10 minutes. I just wanted to get a bit lighter. It's a bit still dark on the outside. So by this weekend we'll be moving house, and the internet on the other side is still not in, so it could be that we have a bit of a slow response area. And then I also want to say sorry to people who haven't responded to the past week. My IT guy shifted my email address to where I asked him to, but I didn't know where to look to, so I missed a few emails there, and I saw a few people were left in the dark for about a week. So sorry about that. That is totally my fault. I can't say it's this guy's fault, really. I wish I could say, but it's not me. It's all me. Okay, something. Let's see. No burglar bars must feel amazing. I've never seen a burglar bar in New Zealand, by the way. I've seen one in Auckland at a cafe. I think it was in front of a cigarette machine or something like that. That's the only place I saw a burglar bar ever. What does that house cost? This house was just sold now for, I think, for $725,000. It's currently a rental. I'm renting. You need quite a large deposit to buy in New Zealand. I want to at least put down a 20% deposit so that I keep my monthly payments lower. So I'm saving money at the backside, getting ready to buy my first house within the next, probably, let's say, 2 years or so. I was going to see what Sean Langer says. Jan, as you mentioned, many nations trying to enter New Zealand. What would you say is the impact on the job availability? Quick thing, Sean. I read a article the other day that said New Zealand can take about 6.5 million people, and then whatever their plans is with their superannuation and the government pensions and health schemes, that will be 100% where they are and where they're supposed to be. And currently there's 4.7 million people in it, so there's about another 2 million that can come in before we are, I won't say break point, you can always go more, but where we are, where the country can sustain everything. The country can currently sustain everything, but you've got to look at the future as well. How long are the rental contracts? Usually 6 months. You can get a rental contract for 6 months. I take them for 12 months. And how do you get some rentals with the kitchen whites? Oh yeah, you get the dishwasher and the stove is standard things in a rental. That is very, very standard. I've never seen a rental without that. So, like ours has got 2 dishwashers, a small and a big one. I don't know why they just didn't put a massive one in, but okay, that's just me. My husband is there. He says the coffee tastes bad. No, Arlene. I still need to get to your husband. I actually sent him a message the other day. I think it's time that me and him go for a good coffee. I'll show him some good coffee. He probably just had a bad experience, or he's drinking these what I call plastic coffees. In New Zealand, you don't drink plastic coffee. You do machine coffee. That's all. So, how do you don't you feel exposed at first without burglar bars? The first, and that's from Biana Bardenholz. The first 3 months was hectic. Really. So this is wooden houses. I've showed you all guys before. If you tick there, it's wooden houses. You can actually hit a hole in the wall and walk into the house. The first 3 months here was absolutely hectic. We had a little shed at the back, a garden shed. I'll show you this as soon as it's a bit lighter. And we've got a big cat. Not our cat, the neighbor's cat. And every time that cat jumps on that shed, it sounds as if somebody's breaking in. And I promise you, that was scary the first 3 months. Now I don't even hear it. I sometimes would walk outside during the day if I hear the cat jump on that and try to speak to him. But the Kiwi cats here are a bit unfriendly. So I don't know, probably the Afrikaans thing from my side. Yep, scary it is the first 3 months. And you'll find a lot of other stuff that you have to unlearn yourself. Stuff like locking your doors as soon as you get into your car. My car automatically locks everything, which is currently, in South Africa, I wouldn't have bought a car that can't do that. Currently, that's very irritating, to be quite frank. So, because every time I've got to get out and open the boot, I've got to unlock the car because the boot won't open, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff you've got to unlearn yourself. There's also stuff you've got to learn yourself, like stopping at pedestrian crossings. Yeah, everybody stops at a crossing, and you can just walk over. You don't have to look left or right. You just walk over. Cars will stop. I see a question. The pet-friendly houses are limited, but are they available? Pet-friendly houses, yeah, it's very limited. This is my own wife that has left that comment there. The reason why is some of the houses get really badly damaged by pets, and the owners just didn't want to take the chances on that. So if you got a cat or a dog, bring a type of a CV with. That's what I saw a few people have done. They bring a CV for the cat or the dog from the previous place they rented, and then to show that this is a good cat or a good dog. So I don't know. That's New Zealand. They predict earthquakes for Friday, 19 April. Oh, great, man. I would love to feel one. Is Tauranga fairly safe from being located on the eastern side of the North Island? Gerda, I've heard about all these earthquakes. I've never felt one. Actually, never felt one. The other day I was in the bank and I saw the windows on the other side, on the other building, just go like this. And I thought, okay, my first earthquake. And it was actually, they were busy drilling somewhere. It was a bit of a negative at the end of the day. Does Portuguese passports need visa to enter New Zealand? Antonio Barbosa? I don't know, mate. I'm South African. I don't have a Portuguese passport. Best is probably to call the New Zealand embassy in Portugal, or if you are in South Africa, call the New Zealand embassy there, or you can try the guys that does all the visas. They would probably know that, or you can just look on the website. I think you could probably Google that one. But I don't have a Portuguese passport. I know some Portuguese people from South Africa that is here, but I haven't asked them ever if they needed passport visas. It would be quite interesting to know. If you're expensive on rental, more if you only rent for 6 months. No, rental is rental. Currently in the area Tauranga, you run up from $550 upwards. There's houses here for even $800, but I see they don't get tenants. But the average is about $550 to about $640. That's about 3-bedroom, that type of thing. Auckland, Karen Blau. Good morning, Karen. Rentals in Auckland about $150 to $200 per week more, or even more. I know some friends who've got rentals for $800, $900, $1,000 a week. So owners don't particularly like dogs. Cats are more acceptable for rentals. That's for Nita Herbens, our in-house immigration advisor. Yeah, Tanita, that is one of those things that the dogs probably make more damage to a house than a cat. But in houses, as you get the curtains as part of the house, I could think that a cat running up there could make a lot of damage. How big is braai in New Zealand? That comes from Janas. Each to its own. Some people keep on braaiing. The wood you have found is not very good. We buy charcoal. We buy some local South African charcoal, actually. That costs about $10 a bag for 4 kgs. That's 100 Rand in South African money. You can use that, or you can just use your gas braai. Gas braai is a very nice, quick thing. If I come home and say to the wife, let's quickly go and braai, and gas braai is within minutes, it's ready to go. So it's no long times and waiting for wood to become ready and so on. So why is Queenstown rent so expensive? Presumably Queenstown is one of the most beautiful places in New Zealand. I haven't been there yet. I still want to go there this year still. There's no, it's just on the South Island, and Queenstown is very much orientated for tourism. So I think that could be probably one of the reasons why Queenstown's rentals is so high. I've never even watched their rentals there. Probably would have to look a bit like that. Do we stop life policies, and so forth, in South Africa? Would take, guys, if you've got a life policy in South Africa, do not stop it until you are here. Once you've reached New Zealand, and I can help you with getting your New Zealand life covers in place, I can also stop your South African life policy for you. it's no problem for me from this side. We do that very easily. I do that basically on a daily basis for South Africans. I still am a financial advisor in South Africa as well, so I'm allowed to cancel policies from this side. Your New Zealand policies is, by the way, they work out about 30 to 50% cheaper. But on your amounts that you get insured for, you need to take much more insurance out here than you have in South Africa. So just keep that in mind. Lisa K says that gas prices don't taste the same. Lisa, sadly, you are right this morning. I've got to give that to you. You are really right. But it's an acquired taste. You get used to that in the long run. Probably much better than the wife just chucking the stuff there in the pot. Although my wife makes wonderful food. Sometimes a braai just does that for me, even if it's a gas braai. My son will go to Oudtshoorn College. If we rent further out, can we get a bigger place? But how is traffic? Traffic is always a bit of a weird thing in New Zealand. They're always building and breaking roads anywhere. Oudtshoorn itself, which to the guys who don't know, Oudtshoorn is part of Tauranga. Oudtshoorn has got quite nice houses as well. And to rent further out, you probably go to Bethlehem or Judea. I won't rent much further out than that to go to Oudtshoorn College. To be quite frank, you will be stuck in traffic somewhere along the line. But I'm talking about traffic about 25 minutes. That's most. Do you get pap in New Zealand? You do. You do. I think within the week or next week or so, as soon as I've moved into my new house, I'll go and walk into the South African shop. Here's a South African shop. There's actually two in Tauranga now. One is run by Indian people from India. They sell a lot of international stuff, so they just added the South African products to their line. And the other one is a real South African, talking Afrikaans as you come in. And you can buy all your South African stuff there, or most of your South African stuff. Although it's a bit of a smaller shop there, so they do sell the papa there. I think it's time that I go on a live and see if we can get a bit of motivation for him for his little shop. Although it will be at a time when you guys are sleeping, because the sun is rising my side, and at your side it's becoming darker and darker. And I mean that literally. Hi Jan, how would rental work if I live with my parents in South Africa, moving on my own to New Zealand and would not rental? Perhaps your parents can give you a rental reference. I would think, I had my own house in South Africa, and we sold that. And I had an office that I rented from somebody on this page as well, believe it or not. And for a period of about 6 months that we moved into an Airbnb. I brought from the office, I brought that rental with me, and I brought the reference. I brought the reference from the guys from the Airbnb also with me. How is public transport in New Zealand? The public transport is quite reliable in New Zealand. We don't have a lot of train stuff here, but we have a lot of buses. Buses run everywhere, but sometimes you just got to wait for about 30 minutes or so, as the buses doesn't run every 10 minutes like in Europe or so. Can you buy Biltong or Droewors? Yes, you can, but it's at quite inflated price. I saw Biltong the other day for $60 or 600 Rand a kg. Oh yeah, everybody says it's already dark. It's been dark there for many years. Karen Blau is bragging there. Ons braai met hout in die Weber. Manuka hout. Manuka hout, or Manuka wood, is presumably a good braai wood. Yeah, I haven't seen Manuka. Actually, I saw this wood that you can throw into the kachels at night, but that's about that. Benita Urban said the South African shops are so expensive. We settled in New Zealand early 2000s. We had no shops. Yeah, I also feel that they are expensive for what you get. I'm not going to go out on their prices now, but I've come to New Zealand not to continue with my South African things. I've come here and I've learned to live with how they have their stuff, but sometimes I just miss some spices. That's probably the only thing that I do miss, and that is what I go to the South African shop for. I don't go there to buy post toasties or oats or that type of stuff. I will buy that from Pack and Save, although Pack and Save sometimes runs South African stuff as well. I have a retirement annuity in South Africa. When I cancel this, could I get the funds out and would I lose it all? Jolene Bota, I love the English there. you would not lose it all. I would suggest before you leave South Africa, you go and you cancel your retirement annuity totally. You ask them to make it paid up, that's the correct terminology, and you ask them to put all your funds, not a bit, all your funds, you have to put in a money market instrument. All right, you've got to listen to me. This is quite important. You've got to put it into a money market instrument. You get about 8% growth on that year on year. It's not in equities that can really fall through or which the government can get hold of. And once you are in New Zealand, you can financially immigrate, and we can help you with that. We've got a very special offer from a South African company that we represent this side, and you can financially immigrate to New Zealand, and then they will pay out your retirement annuity. Our customs really like shown on Border Patrol. The Australian customs, exactly. It feels as if you are in the movie, but not the New Zealand ones. So, what do you use for rental reference if you sell your house in South Africa? You can also bring proof that you have your own house. They love the South Africans. They know we look, on average, a bit better after people's homes than the Kiwis. And I don't want to take the Kiwis down now. But that's something that they do know, and they will give you a bit of a, I would say, a bit of a preferral. We looked at about, let me quickly be there. I looked at about 40 houses now, and I was interested in about 3 or 4 of them. And it's every time that we came to these houses, there were at least 5, 6 other people. Some places there were 20 other people looking at the same house. And every house that we were interested in, and we sent our stuff through to the agent, we had the right to be the first tenant there. But at the end of the day, we took the best one. Actually, I had another one, and the agent just took about 2 weeks to send us the paperwork. So we took one that's actually better for the same price. So no sneaking biltong or dwarfwors in your suitcase. No, don't do that. They've got little dogs on the airport that sniff that out. And presumably, to my good friend who's an MPI officer, they just destroy that. So I actually one day said I'll come and help them destroy, but no. How much money do you need to have in order to do financial immigration? Financial immigration costs about 15,000 Rand. That's in Rand value, not dollar, 15,000 Rand. That's what it costs. You've got to pay some money over to the Reserve Bank and so just to take your name off a lot of things. So keep that in mind. That's roughly what it's going to work out to. I know there's other people that charge more or less, I don't know. So, but that's from our side. And the company I use is a very old established company. They've done all the forex changes for companies like big insurance companies. If you put money offshore with your big insurance companies, these guys were the ones that did the forex. That's where I come on to them, and I've been working with them for the past, I would say, 10 years at least. Regarding RS, how much would I lose if I let it pay out here in South Africa? I don't know how you're gonna get it paid out in South Africa. Retirement annuities is bound by laws of SARS, and you cannot get it paid out until age 55, and then certain things on that. And just remember, if you get your RA paid out on age 55 before you come over to New Zealand, and you take a monthly income of that, it could also be that you can never move your RA from South Africa. I had one client up in Hamilton who's got that problem now. So a friend of mine's got a piece of dwarfwors in the handbag, $400 fine in Sydney. Yeah, Sydney's tough. Sydney's really tough. Did you change all your appliance plugs when you got there, or have you brought adapters? I bought about 2 adapters. That's only for the cell phones. The cell phones has got the same weird. Where is the plug? Let me get my cell phone plug out for you guys. You can see. This is the one you buy in South Africa. It's got this little round things. So to buy all of this new, like this, would cost you a lot of money. So I bought 2 adapters for this. So every one of my families got an adapter for their cell phones, and then for everything else, I bought new plugs. Plugs cost about $2 each, and just put on the plugs. So I also brought some multi-plugs from South Africa. So I've got a multi-plug lying at my computer, and all my computer plugs, South African computer plugs, is in there. I just changed the multi-plug point. So that's just easier for everybody. The sun is up a bit. I think we can quickly do a small walk around, try and see how far the Wi-Fi will stretch outside, and then it's time for me to love you and leave you, as our 30 minutes has come and gone this morning. Alright guys, let's take another quick lap to see how the garden looks. My garden is in a bit of a state. I'm busy cleaning up here, so forgive me for that. Alright, I'm just going to show you the multi-plugs I'm talking about. There's my multi-plugs lying with my South African plugs in there, and that's all part of the way to easier get stuff done. Let's quickly see if we can have a look outside in the front. There's again the front outside. Let me just open the door here. That was open. Alright, that's the size of the yard outside. That's the garages, and you've got this little driveway down there. And we're in a cul-de-sac, so all the cars are parked outside. My garage looks terrible. I've got a small piece of... see, I've got security lights. I got security lights. Got a small piece of grass down there. That's about that. Let us quickly go and show you what's outside. You're gonna excuse the part where I'm going out now. I'm busy working here, but just left the tools here last night. As you can see, all my tools are just outside here. Alright, this is the extent of my yard. That is the size of the yard going down there. As you can see, I do a bit of potting. That's the yard, that's the garden shed where the cat normally jumps on. So that is my yard. It looks terrible because I'm cleaning up here. Because if you leave your rental, you have to clean up everything. And that's the other end. That is the neighbor's yard. Alright guys, now you've seen how small the yards are in New Zealand. If my neighbors walk in their house, and it's a wooden house as well, I can hear them. So, yeah, that is me. 30 minutes has come and gone. I want to say thank you, Baie Dankie. Have a good and a safe evening in South Africa. And until next Wednesday, we'll be here. Stay good.